Lord Byron, whose full name was George Gordon Byron, 6th Baron Byron, was born January 22nd, 1788 in London, England, to Captain John Mad Jack Byron and his second wife Catherine Gordon, who was a Scots heiress. He moved between many places in his early life after his father spent most of his mother's wealth and then died, but in 1801 he went to one of England's most prestigious schools, which started his path towards poetry. In 1803, he fell in love with his distant but still cousin Mary Chaworth, who was not only older than him but already engaged, and her rejection of him became his symbol for idealized and unattainable love that was a common theme in all of his poetries. In 1805, when he went to college in Cambridge, he became rather homosexual for a young chorister named John Edelston. His first published volume of poetry, titled Hours of Idleness, came out in 1807, but his first recognition was when he wrote a retaliation couplet satire to a sarcastic critique of Hours of Idleness in the Edinburgh Review in 1809, titled English Bards and Scots Reviewers. He traveled a lot throughout his life, growing infatuated with Greece and their free way of living, and had swings with many women, but he eventually settled down in a wedding with Anne Isabella Milbank in January 1815 to escape his cycle. He had a daughter with her named Augusta Ada, but the marriage didn't last as they weren't compatible, and Lord Byron was still incredibly bisexual. He goes on throughout his life to marry many women, write many stories, and live a generally wild life. He eventually died on April 19, 1824, after developing a serious illness that weakened him and left him susceptible to the fever that killed him. He was mourned greatly and died a symbol of disinterested patriotism and was declared a Greek national hero. Most of his stories surround a character that was modeled after him and his woes with love, but his most well-known poem is Don Juan. Now, Don Juan is incredibly long, so it would be impossible to recite it in full, so this is a small excerpt from it. Nothing so difficult as a beginning in poesy unless perhaps the end, for oftentimes when Pegasus seems winning the race, he sprains a wing, and down we tend. Like Lucifer when he hurled from heaven for sinning, our sin the same and hard as his to mend, being a pride which leads the mind to soar too far till our own weakness shows us what we are. But time, which brings all beings to their level in sharp adversity, will teach at last man, and, as we would hope, perhaps the devil, that neither of their intellects are vast. While youth's hot wishes and our red veins revel, we know not this. The blood flows on too fast. But as the torrent widens towards the ocean, we ponder deeply on each past emotion.